right. Hello and welcome to Ryan J Reviews. I'm very excited today because I'm talking with a friend who I met a few years ago and have been wanting to work with for a very long time. And we finally found the right moment, the right project. I'm very excited. She is founder of Otherworld Theater, which is a theatrical production company in Chicago, and it's very exciting. I want to tell you all about it. Basically, Otherworld Theater brings a uniquely entertaining live experience to Chicago's theater scene, celebrating works of science fiction and fantasy. They do that by engaging with audiences with high-quality storytelling, and their productions explore the depth of humanity and imagination. They also create opportunities that bring patrons and artists together, opening a dialogue to further the connection in the local community. I really am excited because I'm a fan of Percy Jackson, that they've got The Lightning Thief coming up. In addition to their stage productions, they also do live action role-playing events, and they work festivals, and they're great stage shows. So let me welcome to the program. This is Tiffany Keane Schaefer. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. That was an amazing introduction.
Well,
I'm so happy to be here.
You are amazing, and you and your husband Dylan and the work that you do creating entertainment for the Chicago community is great. And in Milwaukee, you know, we're so close. I go to Chicago all the time for arts and entertainment. I know a lot of people from Chicago like to come to Milwaukee for things that we've got going on here and shows. So it was just about time that we finally got on this together.
Yeah, I love going to Summerfest every year. So,
yeah.
And you have an amazing art museum as well.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. We met in Milwaukee.
Yes, we did. Because we also LARP in Milwaukee. We've done some events up there. So
yeah, we'll have to do more. We'll talk more about all that stuff. But today I want to focus on The Lightning Thief, which is Percy Jackson. You're doing the musical version, is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about. Let's start with Otherworld Theater, though. Like, when you found it, why focus on sci-fi and fantasy?
I think anything that you do should really start with the love. So I love science fiction and fantasy. I'm a big nerd, as you can see about the everything around me in my home. You know, back 10 years ago when we founded Otherworld, there really and still hasn't really been a theater dedicated to genre performance. So when I graduated from Columbia College 10 years ago, I kind of looked around and I said, I'm either going to just assistant direct for a really long time, or I'm going to start my own theater company. And decided to do the theater company and start from scratch. And now Otherworld is the only venue dedicated to science fiction and fantasy. So it's just been a wild ride for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything that you haven't done in the realm of sci-fi fantasy, like, or maybe that hasn't been created to the stage? Do you guys like develop things or adapt books and things that you like?
Yeah, we kind of do everything. As long as it's genre focused and has that science fiction and fantasy genre bent, anything's kind of game. We've done everything from like arts festivals to improv shows. This is a main stage. The Lightning Thief is one of our main stage programming. But really, it's a community center for nerds in Chicago.
I like it. I knew, I was like, these are my people. I'm a big nerd myself. You know, anyone who collects or likes franchises or all the rest of us, that we're loud and proud and out there. So that's fantastic. I also want to bring in, we have Valerie. Let me get you in here before. I should have asked you before going live, but is it Cambron?
Yeah. Hi.
Good. Hi, Valerie.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to talk to you and talk about this show. Yes. I'm having such a blast playing this role and working with this cast. I'm excited to talk about it.
For those who don't know, Valerie is playing Percy Jackson, and I love it. And I'm curious, and in addition to being founder, Tiffany, you're also co-directing this production. You're co-directing with, who is it?
Colin Borisenko.
That is. I know I have it written down, but
yeah, I know. You have so many notes, I'm sure.
So great. So we'll talk about co-directing in a minute, but Valerie, what's it like to play Percy Jackson? Do you come to this show as a fan of the material and the books or the movies?
Yeah, so I'm 22. I grew up as these books were being published. I'm a huge Percy Jackson fan. I was a big fan of the musical when it first came out, and when I saw this opportunity come up, I was like, well, there's no way I can pass up this opportunity. it's I'm so grateful that Tiffany and Colin have given me this chance to play this character that, you know, I'm a female presenting person. This is not something I ever dreamed I'd be able to do. Is play this character that's so near and dear to my heart as a fan, and be able to combine my nerd self and my artist self together in a way that's it's so fun and so fulfilling in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like in terms of getting into the role of Percy? Are you playing Percy as female, or are you playing it straightforward, although you're a female actor?
So we talked about this towards the beginning of the process. He's still using he, him pronouns. He's referred to with male gender terms.
Mm-hmm.
But that gender discussion doesn't really come up in the show. There are just way more important things that are happening, you know, monsters and life-threatening peril. He just doesn't have time to think about that. He's 12. He's figuring it out.
Right. What a great opportunity, though, as an actor, just to be able to, again, play a role that, you know, maybe other companies wouldn't even, you know, be that open-minded in terms of casting and the rest of it. So I think that's a great credit to Otherworld Theater. And we're seeing, I think, theater in general, even on Broadway, and then certainly across the nation locally, theater is kind of leading the way in being more creative with casting than we're seeing in film and television. They're a little bit slower to adapt, I guess, this way, but I love it and want to commend Otherworld Theater, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you do this, Valerie, this show. Maybe do you both want to comment a little bit about the show itself? Maybe for those who don't know, maybe Tiffany, tell us the basic premise, and then Valerie, if you'll talk about maybe a little bit, without getting too spoilery, the story arc for Percy.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a modern take on Greek mythology, and the hero myth, monomyth that we've all have had some like relationship with. I think everyone has at this point. Either has a favorite Greek myth, or has seen a Greek myth, or read a Greek myth. I think that like these mythological stories stay with you, but essentially it's set in modern day, and it follows the journeys of a 12-year-old boy who discovers that he is a demigod, and has to go on a quest to find out who stole Zeus's lightning bolt. So on the way, they make friends. It's really about the power of friendship. Found family is another really big theme that the story explores, and that heroism is always inside of you, and that normal is a myth.
I like that. All right, Valerie, can you tell us a little bit about Percy's arc?
Absolutely. Yeah, so without getting into the actual plot things, Percy is a very lost 12-year-old. He's down on his luck. He's been kicked out of school several times for like behavioral problems that aren't really his fault. It's not your fault that a minotaur attacks you at school. And he's really trying to find his place in the world. And part of that is stemming from familial relationships. You know, he's raised by a single mom. He has this troubled home life, and he's trying to figure out who he is in his place in the world. And whether that's through your familial family, your parents, your siblings, your extended family, or with your found family, the people that are like you and that accept you into their communities. Is trying to find your place in the world, and how you can look at yourself and find things that you might find as shortcomings or weaknesses and reframe them as strengths.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was talking to a friend of mine, Jason, who's a big fan. He's actually going to be coming with me to see the show. And I've seen the movie. I've seen some of the TV series. I saw a production of this musical before. I'm really excited to see it. So I have some familiarity with it. But he was bringing up that whole conflict in character building, because each of the kids is a demigod, right? A child of a god. And that conflict between power and insecurity. All the demigods of that universe are dealing with the abandonment issues, of course, from their godly parents, who in most cases only claim them at around 12 or 13. So what's it like getting into the headspace in your character work, Valerie, while having to be a hero, but also showing that vulnerability of abandonment issues?
Yeah, for me personally, I'm very close with my family, but I feel like a lot of people that have our same nerdy leanings. I had a really tough time in school. It's really hard to find people that you resonate with. But once I started getting my musical theater degree when I went to college, I found this whole group of people that were just like me and thought all the same things and went through those same hardships. And even though it looked different for every person, you're able to sort of draw on those experiences in your own life and apply them to these fantastical situations. You know, I might not have fought Medusa, but
Mhm.
I did deal with bullying in high school and trying to find my place in the world. And I fought with my parents.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Sorry, is that like that's like coming up, right? Isn't it? Did you hear that? I
Just a little bit.
just
The
need
dogs are
to
calling.
I'm getting a phone call. That's my mother calling right now. I'm sorry. I guess I have to turn my phone on to unavailable when I'm working. For though that's the fun of being live.
No, it's fine. You know, I think it's great when we're talking about abandonment issues and the
Yeah.
gods and your mom calls.
Why aren't you watching me on YouTube and Facebook right now and asking a question, Mom? Come on. Anyway, Valerie, sorry for that interruption. Continue.
Oh, you're good. No, just a big part of my acting technique is taking those experiences that I've had as a real human being, living my life, being in the world, and being able to empathize with these characters that are in extreme situations and say, how would I react if I was in that situation? Who would I lean on? What parts of my personality would I depend on? For Percy, a lot of it is his humor. He is constantly, I guess I'm constantly cracking jokes. That's something that I relate to a lot. And this show being a comedy, being a musical comedy, especially, it has a lot of that. You know, it has its serious moments, but, you know, you move on by finding the humor in everything. So for every serious moment, there's at least 3 stupid jokes and bits and silly laughs, you know?
A very well balanced show. Tiffany, when you've directed, have you co-directed before, and what's the experience like collaborating on that front?
I love collaborating. I'm one of those people who I'm like, I want all those cooks in that kitchen. There are especially with something like this where it has such a deep fandom and there are so many different ways and different opportunities that people have experienced this material, and having like all of these different minds come together and figuring out how to put together this world has just been such a blast. Colin and I have worked on other projects together. We're very much on the same page in a lot of different aspects, especially with focusing on the story of Percy and this idea of found family. But also, like, I have to highlight, like, Percy has an amazing mom. And single moms don't really get a lot of love. Usually a single mom, it's a lot of the negative stereotypes around single motherhood, but Sally really does like personify like doing whatever she can for her kid. And I think that's just really beautiful, and it's kind of at the heart of the arc for Percy, because a lot of it is refinding his mom, saving his mom, which I think is really, really beautiful. That was really important to me and Colin.
I love this. Thank you for giving me some of these photos to share of the production. I love the lighting. It's fantastic. Really cool stage. See some of the costuming there. And obviously there's going to be some action. There's some music. What about stagecraft magic? Are we going to see any kind of cool effects?
We have some pretty cool effects. We also have some very like lowbrow effects as well. I think that it's always really cool to like pick and choose your moments. I think that theater audiences in general like to see the work. They like to see like how the sausage is being made on stage. So we definitely have moments of like, this is how we're going to create a minotaur on stage. And this is like under lighting, under haze. You know, if you really looked hard enough, you could probably just tell that it's someone in a mask, but with lighting and with projection. And we're collaborating on the story together, that like, it just is a really beautiful moment of like seeing the actor all of a sudden that you've seen him in other roles. And then all of a sudden he's embodying this supernatural beast. You know, we all know that it's the same actor, but it's really cool to see him kind of take on a new challenge and become something else. And then 2 seconds later, he's going to be Luke. So, you know, he's back to being like a 60-year-old, you know, cool kid. then he's Ares, another god, you know. So definitely love showing the work. But also like some of our costumes are just really super beautiful. Like they've just really come together in this amazing way. I don't want to spoil anything, but definitely DOA is going to give people a run for their money, I think, which is one of the big musical acts in the show.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Sounds like a favorite moment to look forward to. I know, and Valerie, you mentioned Medusa. That's one of my favorite moments. Are there, let's say each of you, can you pick a favorite Greek myth or character that's represented in this show?
Ooh. I mean, Medusa's an icon, let's be real. Like, it's hard not to even have a conversation about Greek mythology without mentioning her. We, a few years ago, had done another Greek mythology play. It was set more, and it was definitely done more like a Greek play, and it was Medusa Undone, which is the original origin story of Medusa, which very much darker than how we present it for The Lightning Thief.
Well, and for Lightning, because Otherworld Theater and your main stage shows, like the bar is open, right? Is it still, do you welcome families though as well? And
yeah, it kind of depends on what show we're doing. Obviously, The Lightning Thief, this is, for families. We're actually really excited to like host families and have everyone come together. And the bar is open. We definitely have mocktails. Right. We have a joke of there's going to be a Mr. D's mocktail. So he can't drink alcohol in the show, even though he's Dionysus.
Right.
Something cursed by Zeus. So now he's forced to never have wine or alcohol again. So we have a mocktail for, and also like adults who don't want to drink, you know, sometimes it's only 2 p.m. and it's too early for that. Right. Everyone has different stripes. So.
Oh, it's going to be great. And Valerie, any last thoughts?
I think my favorite part of this experience has been the stage combat. I am getting my butt kicked the whole time, and I'm having such a good time. It's not something that I get to do a lot as a woman in theater. It's starting to pick up a little bit more, but traditionally a lot of that stage combat-y stuff is reserved for male characters. So being able to, go toe-to-toe with a sword is really fun for me and something I've never done before and something I really want to do more of after.
That sounds really cool. Well, I think you've got it all in this. I mean, you've got the magic, the music, the mythology, the action. It's something for everybody. I can't wait to see it. I'm going this weekend. It opens this Friday, which is July 12th and runs through Sunday, August 18th. This is Otherworld Theater producing the Percy Jackson musical adaptation of The Lightning Thief. And honestly, it's one of the more popular adaptations. I know people are divided on the movie. The books are very popular, but this is for fans of the books. I don't think I've found anyone who hasn't been a fan of this stage production either. So it's really, really exciting that you guys are doing this. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is really fun.
Thank you, Ryan. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Yes, and again, the Lightning Thief is at Otherworld Theater. Head over to otherworldtheater.org right now to get your tickets, running July 12th through August 18th.